everyone. Welcome to episode 19 of the Kinda Loopy podcast.
Good morning, y'all, from Great Falls, Montana. Since I am in mountain time, and I live in Eastern time, I'm up early and have lots of time before we have to go to work. So I was just going to catch you up on my progress, where I'm at with my sock knitting. So this is all I brought. These are the two projects I brought with me. I was able to complete the first sock. They're just shorties, obviously, so it didn't take much to complete that, but I did that on the way here. Did I finish it on the flight? It might have just been later that day. Now I don't remember. And so I have started the second one. No, I started the second one on the flight. So yeah, I finished the first one on my travels here, 3 different flights. And I am just finishing up the heel flap on, ooh, that was close, the second sock, but because it's a shorty, and I do 10 rounds of 2x2 ribbing for the cuff after I finish the heel. I'm probably 30 minutes away, maybe an hour away from being done with those. So then my only other project that I brought with are my Freckled Whimsy Christmassy Yarn Club socks from May. This is Winter Patina. These are the ones that you remember from the last episode. I had done several stripes. You can see all the yarn that I frogged wound up there. But I had done them in stockinette. Dunham. I had done the stripes in stockinette, and they're supposed to be a 3x1 rib. So I had to rip that out a week ago, and I'm just barely starting to touch these. I do have the ability to knit a little bit while we're here doing this work stuff. So that's why I got through the rest of the foot on this is Freckled Whimsy Homespun Heritage, by the way. I didn't say that. It's going to be a little bit different today, so I don't know if I'll have as much time. But because I have so little left to do on that sock, I'm going to work on it this morning before we leave. But I think then I'll take with me this other sock because I'm going to have potentially more time, and I don't want to run out of knitting if I have time. But there's another thing. So let's chat about the other thing. So I cannot get yarn packing right or project packing right on trips. I've never been good at this. I either bring 5 projects like I brought to Colorado a couple weeks ago and barely touch any of them, or I bring 2 and I'm scared with the amount of knitting time I have and how many days I have left here, I'm gonna run out of yarn. So I started kind of coming up with a contingency plan of making shorty socks does not use much yarn, so I'll cast on another pair of the Freckled Whimsy yarn and another pair of socks. I'll make another pair of shorties for me or someone else, who knows. And that's still a viable option. But somebody said, well, you could go buy more yarn. And I thought, you're right. I could buy more yarn. So I Googled yarn stores. Well, I Google Maps yarn stores yesterday. And one of the first ones that came up was Farmer's Daughter's Fibers. Now, I've heard of this. I've never used any of their yarn. I know they're like an Andrea Mowry preferred yarn, or I don't know if she's connected to them some way, or maybe they just live near each other. I've heard of them. I've never used them. I knew they were located in Montana. It never occurred to me to wonder where until they popped up on the map. They're like 5 minutes from the hotel that I'm in. So of course, I need to go get some yarn. As an emergency, I might run out of knitting on this trip, so of course I have to go get more. So I have convinced my coworkers, who are the best sports, right? They came with me to the yarn store in DC a couple months ago, and that wasn't the first time they've done that. They were like, sure enough, we're going to go at lunch. We have an hour-and-a-half lunch. It's a 5-minute drive from where we're working. Absolutely, we're going to take you to the yarn store. So hopefully that's today. If not today, it's only Tuesday right now, and we're going to be here until Saturday morning. So at some point, I will get to that yarn store, and I will take you along with me. Good evening. I just was going to give you a little update on what's going on with my socks. So I finished the Freckled Whimsy Homespun Heritage socks yesterday, and I have been working away now on my second sock of the Freckled Whimsy Christmassy Yarn Club Winter Patina. So remember, I had to start over with the 3x1 rib on this one. I have made it now past where I had originally ripped it out. I was somewhere in this stripe when I had to pull back when I realized I was doing stockinette, and you can't really tell yet, but I have started gusset increases on this one, and I don't want to jinx myself, but I think I could possibly finish this sock by tomorrow night. And today's Wednesday, so tomorrow night would be Thursday. I still have all of Friday to be here, and then a whole travel day home on Saturday. I have not made it to what's it called? The Farmer's Daughter's Fibers. The Farmer's Daughter's Fibers? The Farmer's Daughter Fibers. You know, the yarn store. We've meant to go at lunch yesterday and at lunch today, and things just haven't worked out in the timeline. We may get an opportunity tomorrow at lunch, but for sure on Friday. So I just have to time this right. I kind of have to slow down and maybe not finish these socks tomorrow, because then I won't have anything on Friday morning. And then my backup plan, if I don't make it to the yarn store, of course, is to cast on another pair of shorties in the red, white, and blue Homespun Heritage. But after you watch this clip, you know, it's going to be part of the next episode. So I'm probably going to tell you how this ended up. If you don't already know, who knows how it's going to come together, but these will definitely be done by the time I record the episode. I can guarantee that. The world's shortest river, Guinness approved, starts in the spring right down here, and it flows. Ooh, look at spring bubbling up right there too. It flows 200 feet right out there, and then it flows into the Missouri River, which is flowing in the opposite direction. How fun is that?
It is good to have you all here. My name is Sarah, and I am a knitter with a capital K and a crocheter with a lowercase c. I'm coming to you from Southeast Tennessee, where it is warm. Now, it's a little different than the week I just spent in Montana. There were a couple days in Montana that we didn't get out of the 50s. I think the highest it got while we were there was 73. So that was nice. I did bring a couple of knitted shawls that I got to wear a little bit. It wasn't quite cool enough for that, but I did bring them, and it was nice to get to do that. But now I'm back home where it is warm, it is muggy, and it is definitely pool slash river slash lake weather. It is Sunday, June 14th right now. You'll be seeing this go up on June 16th. And I think I already said it is episode 19. So welcome. It is good to have you here. What am I wearing? I am wearing a summer sorrel, which is a pattern by Wool and Pine. This one was made with Legacy Fiber Arts in their Purple Rain color. It was deep stash even when I made this, and I made this, I think, late 2021, early 2022. I know they still have this colorway. I don't know if it looks the same, and I don't remember. I feel like it's probably their Cozy Toes base, because it's very soft and a little pilly. Well, a little pilly. It's not bad, but it's very soft. and I think it's their Cozy Toes base, and most of what I have of theirs is Cozy Toes. So this is a fun pattern. This is a uh, good combination of it. It gives you interest. The stitches that you pull up, I can't think of what they're called now, but they're not difficult. It's not confusing, but it's just a little bit of something to keep your interest peaked. And then you have stockinette, and it's made intentionally to be reverse stockinette because of these pulled up stitches in the yoke to make them kind of pop against the background. It's reverse stockinette, and then it stays reverse stockinette all the way down. All right, so let's talk about the couple of finished objects I have. Last time we talked, I didn't have any, so I guess it's fitting that I have a couple now. First finished object is my bounce blanket. It is folded in half. That's why I'm kind of flipping it around here. Maybe we'll pop in a video of me doing the drop where you roll, let it unroll, because I did put one on Instagram. But maybe we weren't expecting this to be a finished object. I don't remember if I said that on the last episode that was my plan. I can't remember what I've said, but this is being made with the Knitty McPurly Blanket Club DK minis that are coming every month. And I'm holding it upside down technically. I have 6 months worth of minis in here, and it is the right size. So I bound this one off, and I've already cast on actually a second one that I will use the second half of this year's minis from Devin of Knitty McPurly. But we've got January 5 colors, then February 5 colors, then March 5 colors, and then there's April. Can't do this anymore. And then May, and finally June colors. This is a pattern by Tin Can Knits. It is a paid for pattern. Whitney of Moonglow Yarns makes these, many of them, to kind of show off the yarns that she dyes, and I love her so much. So that was what inspired me to do this, and I'm going to end up with 2 of them since there's enough yarn to kind of make 2 of those blankets. So that is the first half of the year complete. All right, second finished object. I still need ends woven in. They're finished, but I haven't woven the ends in because I did finish these on my trip, as you will have seen, but I didn't bring notions or anything. You would think I'd have learned that after going to Colorado a few weeks before and not bringing anything with me, but no, I did not learn my lesson. But it's fine. It didn't cause me any problems. But these are Freckled Whimsy's Christmassy Sock Club yarn, Christmassy Yarn Club socks in Winter Patina. That was the name of this colorway. This was the May colorway. Probably can't see it up above me. I have the June colorway here. I showed it last time. It's called Elf Squad. I haven't cast those on yet, and they probably are gonna not get cast on right away. You'll see why. I'll get to them. I'll get there. But these are socks that I did in a 3x1 rib, and I did more of I did 72 stitches to kind of make them men's sizes. I don't have any particular man in mind, but I have plenty of people that I could gift these to. So these are going in the pile with all of the other socks that I'm making this year, basically with no one in mind. But I'm going to see where I'm at the end of the year and give out some gifts is my plan for all the socks I'm doing. Okay, so the second finished pair of socks, the third finished project, also with ends not woven in. These are a pair of shorty socks. I talked about this on the last episode. I made them shorties because I feel like these are summer socks with the red, white, and blue. And I don't wear socks in the summer, so thought if there's any chance of me wearing these when it's appropriate to wear these, for me, I don't wear a lot of red, white, and blue. but in the summer, that's when I will do it. So I made these shorties for that in mind. And that leaves a lot of extra yarn, right? Which means uh, the scrap, I may make another pair of shorties as a gift option. I don't know. I'm not sure, but it's fine because I am making my red, white, and blue Battenberg blanket. And so if nothing else, I can put that in there. I'm not sure how the little squares will crochet up with self-striping yarn though. So I may test one out and see if I like it. If they don't come out very well, the square Battenberg squares, then I will for sure cast on another pair of socks with this yarn. But if the Battenberg squares do look okay in the self-striping yarn, then I think I'm just gonna put what's left over in that basket of Battenberg square yarn. Marshall and I are running errands with Dave. He ran into Lowe's. I'm working on the socks for my son, Fangirl fibers, Grand Admiral Thrawn with a texture of some knits and pearls every now and then. Okay, so I just showed those socks when we were out running errands last week that I was knitting on, and it was after the moment I filmed that clip. I put it down and I realized that I had dropped a stitch. So I don't know if you can see this. I have all thumbs right now. This marker is hanging on a stitch that dropped at some point, and it's right at the point where I started working on the heel. So I'm sure it happened at that point. I didn't see it until way later. I haven't knit that much on there since, and I debated. Well, this is actually why I didn't take these to Montana. So when I was getting low on the knitting in Montana, it was because at the very last minute I pulled these out because I didn't want to. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with the drop stitch. Like, am I going to try and drop down and pick it back up? Well, I mean, that really was what I was thinking, but it was so far down and you can't even see where it, I mean, there's not a gap at this point. And I've counted, I have the right number of stitches because I did this, in the heel. And I'm sure at some point, I don't remember this, but I must have counted and thought, that's not right. So I probably just made another stitch somewhere in that heel process. So I didn't take these with me. What I've decided now is I'm gonna put a little bulb safety pin marker instead of this heavy little baby Yoda Grogu marker. But when I'm done with this sock, I'm just gonna take a long piece of the yarn and basically tie that stitch off. I'm not going to try and like reconnect it with the rest of the knitting. But when I was packing to go to Montana, that was like a bridge too far. I couldn't think of what I was going to do with that. I didn't want to mess it up. I didn't want to have to rip back. I was like, I'll just set these aside and deal with them later. But first socks still for my son. They're Fangirl fibers, Grand Admiral Thrawn, which is a Star Wars reference for my son. Did I just say that twice? It's been a long week. But I'm slowly making my way through those. I did knit on them in church this morning. So it wasn't last episode, was it? I don't remember. It's been a bit since I shared my progress. That's the back. Nobody wants to see the wrong side. This is a Harry Styles cardigan for Bert, my middle child podcast editor. And those of you who've been around for a bit have heard the the saga of this and how this came to be. And I don't enjoy it. I think it's so ugly. But she really wants it, and she does edit the podcast, so she's earned it. So this is just a bunch of knit picks, different colors. It's mostly bulky weight. It's mostly wool of the Andes, superwash bulky, but there are some exceptions. Not even in this sample or the back piece that I have right here, but in some of the other pieces to come. I will be using, there's a little bit of acrylic. There's some worsted weight wool of the Andes that I'm going to hold double. We're just making it work with what they had available. So this is part of the back. Oh, I was to say, I knew I had another piece. This is also a part of the back. It's going to go here, I believe. So I haven't attached this yet. And then I started the left side of the back. I haven't finished it, but this has become Saturday knitting. So I'm I'm blocking out time on Saturdays. I have my Sunday blanket rotation where I work on blankets in a rotation. And this Harry Styles cardigan is going to become my Saturday knitting. I didn't knit on it yesterday because I traveled back from Montana, but the Saturday before I worked on it, I'll work on it next Saturday. And I've scheduled it out. I sat down with a calendar and I looked at the pattern, and I'm familiar with now how long it takes me. The entire thing is built out of these blocks in strips. So I have calculated and sat down with a calendar of what I want to accomplish each of the Saturdays that I can work on it. And I've taken into account some of those Saturdays where I won't be able to work on it if I know I'm going to be gone. And so the plan is this is going to be done by mid to late October. I told Bert she should have it by Halloween, which is fitting because it kind of looks Halloween-y in that it's costumey. All right. So another thing I've been working on, although, when I was gone for a week and most of this stuff didn't come with me, most of it has not been touched a whole lot, but this is an everyday summer hat. I can't remember the name of the designer, but I believe she had her design name business is Strings and Cuddles, maybe. But this is like a summer wide brimmed hat. My friend Amy, the Knitting Wanderer, she shared one. I shared this on the last couple of episodes. I was so amazed by the magic that happened to make a hat. It never occurred to me I could make a hat like this. And I'm a beginner crocheter. I'm not a great crocheter. I don't like how it looks like it has a nipple here, but I think that's just my lack of crochet knowledge and experience. And I did say this was kind of my practice one. I was going to learn how to do it and then make a real one once I had kind of worked the kinks out of the whole process for myself. It's really not that hard. And now it's just time consuming because I've got many more rounds to get the brim wide out about that far, and there's wire that's going to go in the outside brim to kind of shape it and hold it out. So that'll be fun. We'll see how that goes. I do have the wire already, but that's a new experience for me, so that'll be interesting. This is being done with Mountain Meadow wool in the Cody base, which is a sport weight, 100% wool. I think it's like a merino rambouillet blend of some kind, not superwash. And this is in the rose color, very pink, very bubblegummy. But I'm enjoying this, and I'm liking, I'm watching it take shape, right? So, and I'm learning a lot. So I'll probably still use this one. I mean, it's not like terrible, but I already know some areas that I probably didn't do it so well, or I've learned how to do something better. So I'll wear this, when we're hanging out in the pool. But I still think I'll make, I don't know, a better one, a nicer one, because my skills will be better after I complete this one. I have another new cast on. For somebody, it seems like all the things I say on this podcast, I'm a liar. I said in the very beginning, I don't like to buy a lot of yarn. I have a lot of yarn. I don't need new yarn. And I'm pretty sure that I have shown something new on every episode. 19 episodes, or well, it will be 19 episodes. So I lie about that. I also say I don't like to have a lot of whips. I don't like to have a lot of things going. I prefer to have all my blankets, a pair of socks, and a garment. I'm out of control. So I cast on, show you this because it has a little progress keeper on the front. This is going to be a Tolsta tank. And this is I'm doing the square neck and the DK weight version. I've made several Tolsta tanks and I really like that pattern. So I decided I needed a red, white, and blue one. And I'm holding the fingering weight. This is fingering weight. I'm holding it double to make that DK. And I'm just going to be striping all the way through until I get to, I'm not sure how I'm actually going to do the top. So I did the bottom ribbing in both the blue and the white. I'm not sure. I'm just going to wing it when I get to the straps, which are also, part of the ribbing on the neckline. So I'll figure out what it's going to look like when I get that far. But I am using Mystery Mouse yarns in Holly's Land That I Love kit package. I showed this as new yarn last episode, I think. They're in this bag that I believe my mother-in-law made for me many years ago. But they're kind of just sitting in there, and they're all attached to the tank. It's fun yarn management right now. But just the kind of, I don't know, folksy red, white, and blue, I think. It's probably because the red is a little more rustic, not so bright, in your face red, which I like. This is more of a red that's suitable for me, leaning a little bit almost on the fallish side. But it's like Americana version to me of those colors. So not very far on this because I started it before I went to Montana and I haven't touched it since. So while I was in Montana, I did make it to Farmer's. Words are hard today. Farmer's Daughter Fibers. So this is a yarn store or a yarn brand I've heard of course. I think it's fairly well known, fairly popular. I had never used any of it before. And I knew they were in Montana. Montana's a big state though. And it never occurred to me to think about where that yarn store might be when I went there. And I've gotten to the point where I don't look up yarn stores when I travel anymore. I used to try to go to every yarn store locally wherever I went. But then I'm obligated to buy something in my own mind. And I don't need any more yarn. And I'm trying not to buy yarn all the time. But what happened is you saw the clips earlier. I was running out of yarn. And so I Googled yarn store or Google mapped yarn store. I wasn't even looking for a specific one. And I was even thinking like, I'll go to Michael's or something. But what do they have here? And when I put it in there and I saw Farmer's Daughter Fibers, I was like, wait a minute, that's a famous yarn store. So we made a point to take a lunch. I think we went last Thursday. And one of my coworkers came in with me. Two of my other coworkers went into a different shop down the street. But the one coworker that came with me, she even bought a book because she learned to crochet as a child. And she was very interested. They had great displays, right? And so it caught her eye. And she was like, oh, you can do that with crochet or knitting. And she was like, I think I want to get back to this. So she bought a book even. And of course, I bought a couple of things. And we're going to just pop in a couple of clips of me going around. It's just like, I don't know, a minute of footage while puppies sneeze. We'll let you go watch those clips.
I'm going to talk about it more on the episode, probably right after you see this. But, oh, that's trash. I need to see trash. I got some goodies. including some goodies for one of you.
It was fun in that yarn store. I don't think you can see it very well in the clip that I took, because I was winding yarn while I did. I had to wind the yarn because I had to cast it on because I was running out of knitting on my trip. But their little coffee area back by the winding station was a Dolly, like Dolly Parton wall. There were all these pictures of Dolly. So I was just staring at those pictures while I was winding yarn. And what I was winding yarn for, well, was another pair of socks. I have too many socks. I only have 2 on the needles right now, but I have my Freckled Whimsy June Elf Squad socks that I need to cast on. And I've got yarn coming for another pair of socks that I can't show you yet, but they're kind of more time sensitive. So I'm going to be casting on something else here soon in the socks department. But this is what I cast on in Montana, and this is what I was working on my trip home. This is a pair of monkey socks. And I know that I think it was during Vlogmas I mentioned something about monkey socks. I think I even did a poll on Instagram about who had heard of monkey socks, because I got some comments of what are monkey socks, and that that was funny. That was interesting to me because I learned to knit in 2008, and monkey socks were all the rage. Everybody was knitting pair after pair after pair after pair of monkey socks. I probably knit 10 pair of monkey socks myself at some point. I still have many pairs of monkey socks in my drawer. They are, if you're going to do a pattern on a sock, like this is knits of pearls and yarn overs. There's no cables involved, but a textured pattern. This is the one, and I am never disappointed when I cast on a pair of monkey socks. I think the definition of potato chippy, if you look that up for knitting, it's these. The repeats, you just want to get through the next repeat, and it's so intuitive. And I hadn't knit a pair in probably 5 or 6 years, but I looked at the chart for about 30 seconds and was like, yep, I remember now. And I knit all of it without looking because they are that easy. I don't I don't need another pair of socks, but this is so pretty, such pretty yarn. So this is the Farmer's Daughter Fibers. This is their Squish fingering. I think it's called Squish fingering. And this is in the Ranch Romance color. And I did all of that in one day, half a day after work, and then on the trip home. And the pattern is written cuff down. I have 2 pair of cuff down socks kind of going right now. That my sons are also cuff down, which is not normal for me, but I can do it. And the only thing I have to look up when I do cuff down is the heel turn. I can do the heel flap and the gusset decreases. That makes sense to me. It's the heel turn, and I just need the first 2 short rows. I just need the numbers, and after that, then I can do it. It's all fine. I even have a screenshot on my phone, in my pictures file that tell me those numbers, so that I don't have to, look up a pattern. But you can do the monkey socks toe up. You just have to like reverse engineer the chart. I've never done it though. There's something about knitting these cuff down I just enjoy. So I did a 2x2 rib on the cuff. I think I did 20 rounds of that, and then I got into the pattern itself. Just did a heel flap and gusset, and I'm zooming down the foot now. But I don't know when I'm going to finish these. As quick as it is to knit these, there's so many things going on, and I'm going to show you a little bit more of what's going on here in a moment. All right, so while I was at Farmer's Daughter Fibers, I got some other things. So I couldn't decide on which skein of yarn I was going to buy to knit socks in the moment. Obviously, I chose the Ranch Romance, but I also bought this one, which is a Quemini. So it's a deep purple. Right now, I can see the purple in it. In some lighting, it just looks like almost black. And I was torn. I wanted to make monkey socks with both of them. I still may make monkey socks let's be real though. It's just gonna go sit up here with its buddies until I get to it. Add to the collection. I also got another skein of yarn while I was there. I've talked about before, I don't even like spin cycle. I don't like this kind of aesthetic with yarn. You know, I get the kind of homespun, hand spun look. It's just not really my thing. I mean, I believe it's beautiful. I get that. It's just not what I will choose to knit with. But I know that Farmer's Daughter Fibers has their exclusive colorway with Spin Cycle, and they collaborate, and they had some other. It was hard to choose. I wanted a lot of things from them, and be honest, and I had to make some hard decisions. But I did get one single skein for me of this. This is Slow Burn. This is the exclusive colorway for Farmer's Daughter Fibers from Spin Cycle. This is the Dream State base, which is worsted weight. This is 150 yards. So you can make a hat out of that. You could make like fingerless mitts or something. What I intend to do is make little pumpkin decorations, expensive little pumpkin decorations in the fall time. So that I think that'll be cute in this, even though I don't really care for the aesthetic most of the time. I think little fall pumpkins will be cute. And because on the last episode, I was so worried about having 666 subscribers, I didn't want to sit there. You guys helped me out. I sat at 666. I was watching this like a hawk for probably a couple of hours, and then it boosted up past there, and I'm not even in you know, having concerns about getting stuck at 666 anymore. So not today. So because you all helped me with that, I decided to get a gift for you all from Farmer's Daughter Fibers. So I got another skein of the Slow Burn Spin Cycle, and some stitch markers that are, you know, unique to Farmer's Daughter's Fibers. There's a little, what is this one? Says Farmer's Daughter Fibers, and then there's like a shape of Montana. I'm covering these up with my fingers. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at this job. So there's a little Montana in there. And then it looks like a ram's head kind of thing. Is that like their, from their logo? Could be. So this is a gift from me to one of you. I am going to request that it is US people only. I know I mentioned the only other time I have offered something to send to one of you all, I said I am willing to learn the hard way if it's really expensive to send something internationally. What I didn't realize when I was saying that is the problem with international shipping is usually that you get charged on the other side, and it can be exorbitant, ridiculous, and I don't want to do that to anybody. So if you, I'm gonna do like everybody else does, right? If you live internationally and you win, I will send you a pattern, something, you know, digital. So, and then I'll pick somebody else to win, you know, the physical prize. But so this one skein of Spin Cycle Slow Burn and the stitch markers from Farmer's Daughter Fibers. And the way you can enter is to leave a comment and tell me what you would make with this yarn. You know, I said you could make a hat, mitts, that kind of thing, but I'm making pumpkins. So tell me what you would do with this. It's just 150 yards, but it is worsted weight. So there are lots of things you can do with it. You could combine it with something else too, right? So I just want to know what your ideas are for that. So I'm just going to ask you to leave me that comment. I will pull a winner on Sunday, June 28th. So it's 2 weeks from today, but you won't see this until a couple days from now. So you'll have about 12 days to enter. So I will pull a winner as I am recording the next episode, and then send this out to whoever is the lucky person. So thank you for helping me not get stuck at that number of subscribers. And now I'm back to not caring. I haven't looked in over a week because the danger has passed. So I have some competing priorities. Obviously, this is making me very uncomfortable as I'm looking at all of these projects that I'm working on. I didn't even talk about my orchidee, which is a top that I am doing by Joji Locatelli. I started probably a month ago now, and I was kind of like trucking along with it, and then that came to a screeching halt. I haven't worked on it in weeks. It just sits, I can see it sitting over there. But I don't get around to it. I really want to get that hat done so I can wear it out in the pool. I don't like having all these socks. I've got socks that are waiting for me. I'm very uncomfortable with all of this. But I have, it's June. We're moving into the 4th of July in a couple of weeks. And so the red, white, and blue stuff is my priority. I did finish those shorties, but now I have that Tolsta tank that I would really like to have done by the 4th. And tomorrow, according to the post office, I will get a set from Moonglow Yarn Company that is a red, white, and blue sock set because I intend to make their American flag socks. I already bought the pattern. I think maybe they're called Star Spangled. They look like an American flag. And when am I going to wear American flag socks ever? But let alone in the summer. This is so dumb, but I want them so bad. So I'm going to make them. Maybe I'll make them. I don't know. Maybe I can get 2 pair out of it, and I'll make like one shorter. I don't know. That's just adding more to what I have to worry about. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that, but I will be making those American flag socks. I'm going to be working on my Tolsta. Those are the 2 main priorities because I want both of those done by the 4th. I also really want to finish that hat so I can wear it, like I said, and I don't want all these socks and sweaters and everything. Blankets don't bother me. I can have lots of blankets, but I got to get it together. Thank you for being here. This is so much fun for me, and I will see you in about 2 weeks on episode 20. Have a great couple of weeks of knitting, everyone. Bye.